Hi, my name is Jamie Prickett. I'm the CEO of Experior Financial Group. I'm here with our Chief Operating Officer, Sheldon Smolin. I've also got here to my left, immediate left, Jason Julian, the Senior Vice President with Strategic Alliance Financial Group. I've got Gary Levy, the President and CEO of Strategic Alliance Financial Group. And I have Jason Ricchetti, sorry. Jason Ricchetti, who is the board chair with Strategic Alliance Financial Group. Today we're here to look at some other opportunities. As you know, at Experior, we're always looking for new opportunities to help our advisors. So as cheesy as that was, we're going to make some quick introductions. Jason, if you could just share a little bit about your background.
Yeah, I've been in the industry for about 28 years now. It's a passionate journey for me. I've always been, I started in banking. My family come from bankers, and I sold for about 17 years, and on the corporate side for the last 10 to 11 years. Excited for the opportunity to be here with Experior. I love what we have to offer and to bring, and most of my background's been both in selling as well as product development and business development from coast to coast. So this is just another chapter in my journey of life in this great industry that we have.
Excellent. We're happy to have you.
Gary.
I'm the President and CEO of Strategic Alliance. We officially started in 2003, and we basically went from a very small distribution network to a reasonably medium-sized distribution network. But what we were more involved with was basically customization of products and development of products. And this evolved into our group and our pension division, which we're going to be speaking about today. And we're partnered up with a very good, strong, solid financial company. It's a public company, SAFG, which is Smart Employee Benefits. And we've joint ventured with them to build and develop, right from coast to coast, the most unique benefit platform that has ever been provided throughout Canada. And so we look forward to the opportunity to work with you and show you what the SAFG difference really makes and our advantages to help you grow your business.
Perfect.
Well, thanks very much, and I'm glad to be here as well. And I ditto a lot of things that my fellow colleagues have said. I'm the chair of the SAFG Benefit Solutions Group. My background is been varied, but I have a long history in the group insurance side. I started my career with Canada Life, and I progressed through the company to become Senior Vice President of Group Distribution and Marketing for the company until it got bought out by Great-West Life. I had then taken a role as the national practice leader for Watson Wyatt Worldwide, which is an HR and employee benefits consulting firm. I then left Watson Wyatt when it was bought out and joined Buck Consultants as the managing director. I'm now pleased to join the SAFG team to provide that expertise both on the insurance side of the business and on the benefits consulting side of the business. And hopefully I could translate some of the advice and learnings over my years to the folks that are seeking to get into this field. So I look forward to the relationship as we continue to grow with your company.
That's great. Thank you. As you know, at Experior, we're always trying to improve the offerings that we have. And group insurance is not your mainstay type of product or service. However, to try to make it easier to do a group quote and to make a sale, we just thought it would be great to have a stupendous company to provide us with national coverage. And to that extent, that's the reason why Strategic Alliance is here today and presenting the opportunity. There will be many more videos coming to you. Jason is going to tell us about some of the trainings that are coming up. But I really wanted Gary to give us sort of a little bit lower level of view of what Strategic Alliance is all about, how it's going to help you, the advisor, in terms of when you come in contact, what you need to do when you come in contact with the potential opportunity. So from now I'll turn it to Gary, and we'll try to keep his comments below 3 minutes, though it's not always possible, as we all know. But that's okay. So Gary, give us a little sort of overview of the kinds of opportunity that our advisors are going to get from Strategic Alliance.
Well, thank you, Sheldon.
You're very welcome.
I'll keep it in the 2-minute program, the 2-minute drill. We're going to play NFL rules.
Okay.
Okay. Primarily what we're going to do as a company to assist you is we're going to teach you from the basics of prospecting to identifying what a good group is, to help you identify your marketplace so that group becomes a very natural question in your fact-finding process, because it leads into so much cross-selling. It leads into a tremendous amount of life insurance sales, disability sales, critical illness sales, investment sales, and it leads and develops what we call a no-legs prospecting method, where you now have a group of people who get to know you, and you could end up basically working with them one-on-one and enhance your business. So group is just a wraparound product which assists in every way possible to keep, I call, the competition away from you, because now you have something that no one else has. You've got from soup to nuts, every kind of product and service that's available to you to benefit your client. Now, how we're going to do that is we're going to train you. Number one, proper fact finding is so critical, because if you don't ask the right questions, you don't get the right answers. Two, once we've got a proper fact finder in place, we'll teach you, we'll show you the process on how you develop and bring that fact finder into us, so we can basically work on it and build a program for you to meet what your client's needs are. Three, we're going to teach you the SAFG Advantage process on how to sell, which nobody else in the marketplace uses today. We're going to take away the price barrier and develop the need requirement, and develop a program that builds a wall around your clients, because no one's going to ask the same questions. And we also have a great servicing team to do that. Also, we're going to show and help you develop customization of the product you want in place. So now, once again, you eliminate the competition, because now when you have customization, it's hard to replicate it. Now, if you're in a situation where a standard group product, a traditional product is required, we can do that too, because we have block rates, which means we get huge discounts to be able to assist you, so you can be very competitive. But customization, development of product, and meeting the client's needs is what we're going to teach you. And it's not going to be all taught in one day. It's a whole process. And we will enjoy working with that. And my fellow associates, Joseph Vasuti and Jason Julian, and we have a huge team to assist you at our head office to make all of this possible for you.
That's great. Thanks, Gary. That was tremendous. I'm going to put that down in the annals of speakerships. Having said that, what can we tell our advisors who are listening today about the size of the groups that you're willing to quote on? Is it like, can you handle 100,000? Can you handle 3? What is the range that they should be looking at?
Well, traditionally what's happened is you have large group and you have small group. Small group is primarily from 3 lives up to about 500 lives. And that represents about 89% of the marketplace. And that's the easiest market to go after for individual brokers. The large group marketplace we control right now as a corporation, about 34% of the entire large group marketplace. And there's only so many large groups that are out there. And so to answer your question, our new platform which we developed is a spin-off of our large group platform. The large group platform works from a minimum of 1,000 lives to 100, 200,000 lives. We can do anything. Large, not a problem. Small, we now have the capability of doing that. And so 3 to 500 lives is the ideal target marketplace. So you will find that the average size group will be between 25 and 75 lives in Canada today, and that's a very profitable product line and market to get into, and it's something you can control, and it takes it away from primarily the customization homes, the Watson Wyatts, the Mercers, etc., because they're not going after the small group marketplace. So you don't have to worry about the consulting firms. But we have consulting capabilities in our company because we do large groups. So we are a consulting firm as well, and a third-party administrator as we pay claims. And we're one of the larger, legitimate third-party administrators in Canada today. So that gives us an advantage. So we got both sides. We also a manufacturer, and we also can administer the entire product from small group to large group.
Right.
That's great. I have a quick question, if I may. Just to bring
This
this
is Jamie Prickett. He
Yeah.
wants to ask a question.
to bring this way down to my level. Would you say that if I had a potential prospect as an advisor in the group market, would I have to know everything to go in there to be able to present this to them, or would I do some fact finding, and would there be someone on SAFG's side that's going to come in and help us put that deal together? How does that look?
That's a great question. I'm glad you mentioned that. And again, on group, what we do is we're the broker's broker. So we're going to do the market survey on behalf of the broker. Once they do their fact find, we're going to handhold them through that. Some advisors or brokers may say, no, I know what I'm doing. I just do the market survey for them. That'll free up some time. However, there may be ones that are just brand new into group. They see the opportunity, and we're going to help coach them on what they need to do and extract the information. We'll do the market survey, and if they'd like, myself to go out to be with them for the presentation, that's fine. Sometimes as well, they have access to, if they're doing a traditional group, let's say they're dealing with Sun Life or SSQ or any of our other providers, they may have that group carrier rep go with them as well. So they'll have at least some credibility when they go into the room and not have to worry about questions they won't be able to answer. So we will give as much input or as much involvement as the broker would want. So they're not going to be left alone in this
That's
process.
fantastic. Next question I had was, I heard you drop the name Sun Life, SSQ. Is you guys, from my understanding, do we deal with all the major players out there, the Great Wests and so on?
Yes, that's correct. I mean, we have contracts with the large carriers and that, and again, Joseph is great to talk about the other avenue that we run with. You'll hear a lot of the terms ASO, Administration Services Only, Healthcare Spending Accounts, and that's where Joseph does his best work, because we look at economies of scope rather than economies of scale. And again, we'll teach the brokers the various differences between a traditional group plan and then the non-traditional, which seems to be that much more popular these days.
Fantastic.
So just along that line, one of the questions I had was for Joe. So many of you have learned about the health spending account companies and ASO companies, etc., administrative services only. So but before we started filming, I asked Joe what his opinion of that was. He says, well, that's my favorite subject. So do you want to just take a couple of minutes and talk about comparison between individual structured plans versus the HSAs?
Well, thank you for the question. It is his favorite subject. Look, let me touch on a few of the questions and some of the answers here, especially not losing sight of what advisors can do. I mean, one key thing that advisors do well is they ask questions, and they're trying to uncover needs, and they do a really good job of that. And when you start asking questions and you focus on what's important to the employer, what's keeping them up at night, and you put the focus on them, you'll hear things like my cost for healthcare and my benefits plan are going through the roof. It's becoming unaffordable. I've got employees who are going off more on sick than they used to be, and my costs and my productivity is going down. So it becomes a question of health and productivity and maintaining a reasonable budget. So why do I like healthcare spending accounts? It controls the spend that the employer gets to pick and choose and govern over. It allows for some shared responsibility, not a free run on having access to anything and everything that everybody wants. It allows that shared responsibility between what's being offered and how their employees decide to spend that money. Do they put a lot of weight on a brand name drug, or are they comfortable with saving some money and going with a generic drug? Not giving up what the outcome of that drug may produce for their healthcare needs. So there is this, the benefits of controlling the spend for the employer, getting into shared responsibility, and having more options. I mean, I get to pick whatever the CRA allows me to pick within a healthcare spending account. I got more choice, and it's a quasi form of a flex plan, if you think about it, without getting into all the intricacies that we know that flex plans have. So that's when I think of where the trends are, the traditional being mired into these high inflation costs and at the mercy of insurance companies to some degree. You remove that and you put the onus back into control of the employer. And that's why I favor them, and we're here to help anybody who wants to explore that.
That's great. So basically, you're going to be able to take information that that our advisor is going to ask their customer. Similarly, we have an expert financial analysis. So this is a needs analysis that our advisors do with every single customer that they have, and compare that without just going in with one solution. Now the advisor will have multi-solutions and be able to actually select that. And I think that's amazing. What I'd like to ask Jason is about training, because we have training programs for our EFAs. We need training programs now to know how to ask the questions, to get the kinds of responses that we're looking for, to be able to generate the quotes. So what is planned as far as trainings? Maybe you have timings on this, when we might be able to get some of these training programs, etc.
I'm actually working on the training modules now, and Gary touched on a lot of some of the basic training that we're going to be doing, and about fact finding, how to prospect, and again how to, the basics 101, group insurance. Also some concepts, how to sell other insurance products within the group. Because when you think about it, when I was an advisor myself, you do your Project 100, you're the knock on doors, you ask for referrals. A group presents to an advisor a never-ending pool to prospect. So it's a good referral source. It's a good sustainable source for leads and for revenue. So I want to make sure that what you are is what you are. I want to make sure your brokers are winning. I want to make sure they have an edge, and want to make sure they are who they are, which you are, disruptors. And that's exactly what you guys teach, and it's a tremendous model that you have. So we'll have, again, Basics 101, how to fact find, some questions to ask, some disrupting questions that can be asked to help gain your credibility in that, as well as what the process is going to be from beginning of submission of a quote to presenting. Just those basics. Then we'll take it to another level for those that, once they've got that under their belt, will go more advanced. We'll get into things such as administration services only, healthcare spending accounts, and how we're not just selling drug and dental plans here. We're selling the whole picture, because now you get into the another passion for Joe, mental health. Groups are asking, what about mental health strategies, depression, anxiety? What about virtual doctors? We provide a lot of these extra services. So those modules will go into specifics on each one. We'll have one on EQ care, virtual doctors, one on mental health. We'll have all these different modules to train. I'd love to start as we go into to January, because I'm getting them all lined up now. And it's going to be exciting. I love training and teaching advisors. I keep it fun, and I look forward to presenting to your group, because again, we want them to win. We want to give them the tools so they can succeed.
That's awesome. I love what you said there. If I could just say, I love that you said about us being disruptors, because that's what we tout. Even our 5th annual convention, which is coming up. If you haven't registered, do now. And it's fantastic, because we've actually touted it the Lovable Disruptors Convention and Awards Gala. What would you say specifically, and any one of you can take this question, answer this, what do you guys say specifically would Strategic Alliance Financial Group be as a disruptor in the industry? What is it that's causing some disruption? Obviously, you've already got 34% of the large market in Canada, which is massive. I had no idea until today how big you guys were in that, in that capacity there. But what makes you guys disruptors?
Well, I think part of is to capture what you had in that sign, opportunities.
Okay.
But some of being disruptive doesn't necessarily mean you have to be complex or complicated. But it was mentioned at the very beginning that on the administration side, that we're able to bring what once was reserved for the large groups in its capabilities down to the smaller groups.
Right.
But we often miss out the point that we can also take other things that are offered to large groups that are not often offered to small groups. And if you really want to disrupt that, what is it that they have versus the small groups don't have? And I think it's that whole area, that consulting capacity and HR and about the employment deal. And if you start focusing on the employment deal in all those aspects to make sure that employees are productively engaged at work, and allowing that to translate itself down to the smaller groups, I think you're going to win a lot of business. This is about listening finally to what the employer's needs are for a change, more pull than push, and responding to that, as Gary said, in a customizable way. In fact, I call it customerization, is what it's all about. That's the disruption. And we can see what's happening in the marketplace with various technology support platforms, and they're starting to get very, we got a little bit of this, we got an app for this, and we're missing the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is what's keeping employers up at night. And if advisors can ask that question, we can help them respond with a customizable solution for them. That's being disruptive. Taking that whole total rewards concept down to the smaller groups. That will disrupt the marketplace and get you the edge and get you new business.
Since you were mentioning technology, can somebody talk to technology? Do you have apps? Do you have websites? Is there something that you do that's uniquely different in the industry?
Maybe I'll just frame it. One of the things that we bring to the table is we're not a TBA that happens to have technology and we go around with a small little group that fixes it every time there's a knee-jerk reaction. We're actually a technology company, a large technology company with about 90% of its revenue being driven by the technology capabilities, with about 800 employees worldwide that support that, in India, in the UAE, in Canada. So when you start with a technology platform, there's really some nifty sophistication behind it. But it's more than just developing apps and technology that allow for benefits administration. It's actually now taking technology that's now converging with science, enabling what science can do. So when we talk about pharmacogenetics and the science of how a drug may metabolize in your body and how that can save in drug costs and other costs, we're now able to take that technology and enable that science. Or if science needs a technology solution, we're able to do that. So there's this convergence now of technology and science. That's number one. And then your traditional, how does our technology platform make all those nifty little apps and all those bells and whistles, which we're able to do. But I just wanted to frame it that look at the backbone to us as a technology platform that enables us to create SAFG the way it is. So let me just pass that on to some of the apps, but I didn't want to lose sight of the real strength behind our company.
That's framed well, and we have things such as auto enrollment, single sign-on, and I appreciate what Joe says, because it's not so much about the app. We are a technology company. We can build it. It's about how can we make business easy for the advisors too, and their employer groups that they have. So we have those capabilities at their fingertips. We do have a website that's out there, and it's active in that. And we're looking to do a video library as well, so that a broker can go on there and pick any kind of piece to learn on a given day and learn about that, and hopefully we can get the C credits there too. But those are just some of the things that come out and stick to my mind as far as technology. I don't know if Gary had any other thoughts.
Well, along with
Voluntary
that,
platform.
because,
Yeah, the auto
because the auto
enrollment's
enrollment's
big.
huge.
It's big.
And for people that aren't familiar with that, really what it's doing is everything's on our database. So to move from one traditional insurance carrier to another, it's just, we already have that information. And it's just, we have to do is just get the master contract signed and we can whoop, download it to the next carrier instead of doing it individually manually like it's done traditionally.
Is this when you're
today.
shopping it out at the end of terms? Is that?
Yeah, if we're moving it, for example, let's say we are also the TPA, we're the administrator of the product for a company. And 3 years later, we decide we might be with Desjardins. We'll use them for example. We decide we're going to move it to Sun Life. To move it from Desjardins to Sun Life is sign a master contract here. All the information data is already in place. We push a switch and download it into Sun Life. The traditional way is the broker has to go in there and get, if it's 100 employees, get 100 employees to do enrollment cards manually and then bring them in. And then they have to manually download those. And ours is point, click, done. It's done.
Let me just express, I think this is an important point, and that was well said. But the technology, for new advisors that are getting in, or advisors are getting involved for the first time in group, or for those that have been or diddle-dabbled in group, you have a database that allows you to prospect within that. So one group gets you 5, 10, 15, 20, 100 opportunities to sell other products. The technology that we have will enable voluntary products to be penetrated through an auto underwrite. So the advisor just simply has to get permission from the employer to do various campaigns, and the technology will enable the enrollment of those employees into those products, whether it's CI, term, and Jason talked about. It's not so much about economies of scale anymore, it becomes economies of scope. So the more simple it is to do the job, we can pass those savings down onto our technology costs, and more importantly, we can drive new business on the voluntary side.
Excellent. I have one more question, and I'm sure Sheldon might have one last closing question, but I wanted to ask, from my perspective, if I'm understanding this correctly, and for those that are watching that are maybe new to this, with the health spending account coupled with the employer, the benefit of having controlled costs, is that?
Well, what it's doing, it's taking out the, it's making a level playing field, and giving control over the budget spend that employers control. It's not insurance per se. Sure. I'm giving you some money to spend on things that are legitimate and governed by CRA. I have flexibility in choosing what I want, but the employer sets the budget. In essence, it's making that piece, the health and dental side of it, irrelevant to insurance companies. There's no insurance risk to some degree, unless there's an unforeseen drug cost that may be there, and for that you can purchase stop loss on that. But it does take away all those funny things that insurance companies like to do, charge high inflation rates for future cost projections, profits, risk charges, that are all hidden in the cost. So it neutralizes that game of setting rates, puts more emphasis on the budget spend and control over that budget into the employer's hand rather than the insurance hand.
So the end user's a winner.
The end user's a winner.
So as we're coming to a close on this amazing fireside chat with the SAFG, it all sounds like really amazing. I'm an advisor. I'm listening to all of this, and I'm saying, so financially, what does this cost me? This sounds like such an amazing opportunity. This has got to cost me some money. Are you guys going to take 50% of my commissions? How much is all this going to cost? So if we could just, in the next minute or two, address that and let them know, will it be costing them any money?
Gary, go ahead.
Traditionally, the way we work this is We work on, from the master contract, 90-10 split. And the reason why...
Is that 90 for you and 10 for the
No,
advisor?
90%
Oh, okay.
to the house, and, or producer groups. And 10% comes to us. And the reason why that 10% is, we need some revenue from this to provide you with the services you're looking for. Because that also includes our people going out and helping you open and close the case.
Wow.
So we're not asking for extra revenue on top of that. So it's a 90-10 split, but if you take a look at the traditional marketplace, the majority of these brokers would not ever get this kind of service for that kind of money. It's virtually impossible.
It's a very
So
good
we're basically really running at a loss, but how we're making up our revenue side is through our back office administration side, because we're taking over the admin of these groups. And so all life companies, when they build into their product, they build a pricing into administration, and instead of the life company doing the admin, we're doing the admin. So that's where we're picking that up, but you're not getting charged for
And
that.
if I could just add as well, it is a very sustainable model for an advisor. It gives them almost like a base income if they shepherd these groups and have good relationships on these groups, and they keep these groups in place. It's a very, very good, becomes again a stable foundation for them. Then they can add their individual life insurance sales and investments in that. And so they'll grow to love what this market has to offer. And it's a very lucrative, it's a very worthwhile one.
And as you know, with our ownership program, this extends even further. So it's a great opportunity to increase the value of the business that you're already building. So I want to thank everybody, including our Chief Executive Officer, Jimmy Prickett, for introducing everybody. And we welcome to hear more from you in the future, the very near future, and we'll be launching very, very soon. Stay tuned, and as always, get your gala tickets purchased. It's a great opportunity. Take care.
Great opportunity.
Love it.